So, welcome.
Hi.
Reigning champion, two-time champion, plus another one. You arrived with credentials also to MotoGP. Pecco Bagnaia from Ducati Lenovo team.
Hi.
This is the first time we've ever spoken to you on here, and it is a joy to be able to get this little bit of time with you, especially in what's now a very close championship fight as we arrive in Germany, where we're recording this after two doubles. Absolutely smashing it. I think it's not been closer since Saturday night in Portugal.
What that was?
In the championship, it's not been this close since Saturday night in Portugal.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even you all the time. You've done your...
Because we went close. I was leading in Qatar.
Yeah,
then
you
Portugal,
were.
Yeah, was behind. And then also was 18 points after Reds, no?
Yes, it was.
And then I lost a lot again.
You did.
So 42.
But now we're back.
Okay, so yeah, the closest one.
It's good, 10. It's an exciting weekend for all of us watching. But as you know, on the podcast, when we've not spoken to you before, and we're not going to change it just because you're the reigning champion, we want to get to know you a little bit more. So the classic first question, how did you start riding? What was it about bikes where you were like, this is my thing? How old were you? How did it all start?
I started, it was Christmas in 2003, 4, I don't remember well exactly.
I feel so old now.
And my parents gave it to me a mini cross, a mini MX, a Beta 50 was. And I started riding it in the backyard of my grandmother.
In your grandmother's house?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, grandmother's house. And I was enjoying a lot because I started riding bicycle without help.
Stabilizers.
When I was 2 years old, so I was very young.
So you got the balance early.
Yeah, very young. And then I started riding this bike and I was enjoying a lot. But the problem was that it was a mini MX, but I was trying to touch the knee on the ground. So it was not the correct way to start. So after a bit of time, they bring me in a very small track close to my city. Alessandria was the 40 Giri was the name of the circuit. And we rent a little bike and we started with street bike. And as soon as I started, I touched the knee. I was feeling like Valentino Rossi, so it was more my word.
Really? So you were one of those who was like, this is my thing, straight away?
Yeah, I didn't think about it in years, but was easier for me than others to ride the bikes.
Okay, so we've got some skill, little Pecco. When does it become more serious and when did you start racing?
I started racing at 8 years old, more or less. I don't remember when, 2006. And that was fantastic. I remember my first race in the Italian Championship, I crashed with a contact with an air.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah. It started to become more serious, more professional. I think I started thinking about this is my world in 2011 when I was in Spain in the Spanish Championship in the CEV with Alzamora, with Aprilia 125 GP. So the bike was starting to be very, very strong. I was with very strong rival teammates. So this was the moment I understand that it was more professional.
So was it more like you wanted to go and make that your career? Was that the kind of decision you were thinking about even then? Or was it more like, okay, now I need to take it seriously to still be competitive?
I always enjoyed a lot, honestly, but the only thing my dad always asked me was if you want to be a rider, you have to do it in 100%. Everything you do in your life have to be 100%. If not, it's not correct. So
this is also an Aton Senna quote, as well as your dad.
Aton Senna.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's good advice then.
And my dad always said that, and was not this type of dad pushing me to ride. Always bring me on a racetrack to test, to train. I was training much less than others. I was going in just 1 or 2 times three times every month in the Saturday or Sunday, just because my dad and my mom were working, so it was impossible for them to bring me during the week. And the only thing my dad was saying was that one, and I think it was a good lesson, because I always did that at 100%. And yeah, when I arrived at the top, that for me, the first time I was at the top was in 2011. And I just said to myself, okay, this is becoming serious. We are at the top of the championship before arriving in the World Championship, so we had to do it at 100%.
Well, it's going quite well for you at 100%.
Yeah, finally, yes.
Good decision. So talk to us then about the move to the World Championship, and also like the academy and those kind of how that started. We asked Bez about this, but obviously you got quite different pathways in. But talk to us about that kind of change, and then it's really serious, but I guess also a lot of fun, it seems. There's a good balance there.
Yeah, absolutely. But I remember in 2012 was the crucial moment, because I was more of the idea to remain in the Spanish Championship one more season, because arriving in the World Championship with not the best team and without the best bike was not for sure the best way to entering in the World Championship. But Emilio and Dorna and the Team Italia were pushing a lot to have an Italian rider in an Italian team. So we moved to the World Championship in the Team Italia. I think it was the worst decision ever, because I didn't enjoy anything. The team, someone in the team was not very kind with me, so I didn't enjoy anything. I just learned how the track were.
Just some research of the layout.
Yeah, the layout, but I didn't enjoy. It was useless, likely useless to be there. I was very close sometimes to say this is not my work, or this is not my work.
Okay.
So when you are not enjoying this, everything is becoming more boring, more you are not happy. So it was very difficult. But in middle of the season in 2013, we were in Brno. I met Uccio of Valentino. He was just saying to me, you have to smile more, because you have to enjoy. Okay, the results are not there, but you have to enjoy. You are working with your passion, so you have to enjoy. This have helped me a bit more to start looking at the situation with a different eye. Results have not changed, but I was more happy. And then in Australia, they started to speak with my dad about the academy. And this was something that have given to me much more motivation to continue. And then we signed the contract with the academy in November 2013.
Even now you see like your smile is a little bit different, like, yeah. So from there then, that's obviously a huge thing, especially because at the time that was quite new, wasn't it? So you're just like...
It's totally new.
Yeah, like now it seems like it's very established, everyone knows, you got like your little crew, but that must have been so exciting as well for you. Now you're you, and you have your own CV, championships, fame as well, but then as an Italian being like, oh my God.
I remember exactly the first time I met Valentino, that for everybody was the idol, and he's the idol. So I arrived at this restaurant in Pesaro, that is now the city where I'm living. At the Cozzamara is called the restaurant.
I bet people will go there now and take photos.
And I was there eating with my parents and Uccio, Albi, the academy header at that moment. And Valentino arrived with Carlo, that is our trainer. So for me, I was very nervous to meet my idol. And as soon I didn't say, I don't know what to say.
Shook his hand?
Yeah, we shook our hands, and it was magic for me. So I was embarrassed, I was nervous, I was super happy. So for me, it was already a great victory to be part of the academy. That in years have grown a lot, and right now we are maybe the best academy, the best solution for young riders to grow, and the package we give to some riders is incredible. But at this moment was totally new for everybody. So I'm very proud to be one of the first to have signed a contract.
Yeah.
With, I'm not the first group.
Who was the very first?
The very first was Simoncelli.
Of course, yep.
But then Frankie Morbidelli, Migno, Marini, Antonelli, many riders were already inside. And when I ride was already this little group. It was not easy to enter.
Especially when you're a teenager, right? Because everyone's a bit like, oh.
But finally, I did. My character, my way, my friendship with everybody is always very, very easy to have. No, I don't have any wall, so it's very easy to be my friend, and they introduce me in a very kind way.
Okay, so little Pecco, not so little, but it's nice to go down memory lane and see the journey. So you joined the academy, that's incredible. And must also fill you with so much confidence in your career going forward. How does it change at the track then, from results not being there to then?
No, it takes time, because then in 2014, Vale created his own team. But the people working there weren't so good, so they changed everything. Mid-season, they changed more or less everyone working there, because they didn't choose
like the team
very
structure.
well, the team manager. So I was stuck a bit in the middle, and as soon as I changed the team, that I moved to the Mahindra, to Aspar. Everything started to grow, and everything was better. My team was fantastic. I was with the same team that right now is with David Alonso, and my feeling with them was incredible. I started to breathe again. I started to enjoy racing again. I was fighting for podium. I did a podium in Le Mans, so my career was starting again from zero, because the first 2 seasons in the World Championship for me were to be deleted. And or to be cancelled. So I started again from zero. I learned many things. I learned that in Moto3 it's useful for sure to have a great bike, but a team is the most important thing. And I enjoyed a lot. I enjoyed a lot that 2 years with Aspar. So
they gave you quite a special present as well, didn't they? For the MotoGP test.
Yeah, in 2016.
Technically, the first time you ever rode a MotoGP bike was because you won that race. It was, yeah. How was that when you were a few years off? I remember, right? Was it the win in Assen?
We did a bet that we said, if you win, we win 2 races this season. We did it at the start of the season.
Okay, so it was 2 races. Okay.
This season, we'll give to you a present. And I said, okay, bet. I wasn't knowing the bet, the present which was. So I did it in Malaysia, and after the win, they said, okay, we will organize 2 sessions with the MotoGP in Valencia.
It's cool, eh? It's very
for me,
cool.
it was incredible, because I was already signing a contract for Moto2 with Team Sky again, for 46, and I had the chance to jump from the Moto3 to the MotoGP in a day. I was very nervous, and were 9 laps. Then we had a little problem on the bike, but were 9 fantastic laps.
I think I remember watching you do them, and it was like everyone was like, enjoy it, but be careful. It's a big step, eh?
But they were impressed that I was the fastest in terms of speed, top speed. I was very small. But,
you just gave it everything.
As soon as I removed the pit limiter, I went full gas just to test the speed, and it was incredible.
I cannot imagine. Even here on the Autobahn with no speed limit, every day I'm like, wow, these guys are insane.
And you can like 200
Literally 200, I'm like, ah. So, okay, so you've done that, then Moto2. So let's, because we've not got all day, I wish we had. Let's go to Championship Moto2, because that's when we started to see the Pecco that we now think of as Pecco. Super consistent, super quick.
But it's, my experience with the Moto2 was the easiest one in the championship, in the World Championship, because as soon as I started, my feeling with a bigger bike with the big tires was great. I enjoyed everything. I did 4 podiums for season, Rookie of the Year. Then the second season I started, I win the first race. Then I did 12 podiums, 8 wins. So it was fantastic.
I love how you know the numbers.
Yeah, I remember everything.
I feel like that's when
very great for me.
People started to really notice you more than, okay, he's won these races, they did this, and I bet like he's been impressive in Moto3. That's when it was like, oh, this guy's really making an impression here, because that year in Moto2 was.
Yeah, but also because we did numbers that not everybody that have won the titles have done. So I remember just the only one that did better than me when he won the title in Moto2 at this period was Marc Marquez in 2012 that did 9 victories, and I did 8. So it was the numbers were there, and the Ducati was the first one understanding it, because before starting the 2018 season, I signed a contract with them. So
before 2018.
Yeah, before winning a race, I signed a contract with them. So they were the first believing a lot in my potential. Also, Yamaha were preparing a contract for them. But as soon as I hear that Ducati was interested, I just said, okay, full on it.
Is that Italian? What is it about that makes that? Before now, obviously.
Huge fan of Ducati from where I was very young. My things were Vale and Ducati.
So that is because there's a bit of Yamaha in Vale as well. So that's a bit of it.
But I think I always think that Ducati was the nicest. The sound, the dry clutch.
The dry clutch
was another story compared to all the other bikes. So also when I was going with my dad and my uncle, they were riding on European tracks sometimes, like amateur. But I was enjoying a lot seeing them, and my uncle was with Ducati, and I was in love with that bike. So for me, it was just that.
Well, okay, so you had a very impressive Moto2 season, maybe without some of the pressure that some people have had, if you had it signed up so early. Then MotoGP, it was a tougher start now. Looking back from where we are now,
yeah.
For some rookies it's like immediate, for some you seem to have that thing where it clicked and you were never slow, but it was tougher to really kind of find that form. Talk us through that and the kind of experience of moving up.
Allora, in 2019, when I started in the test, already in the last part of in the first 2 tests in November of 2018, I was super fast. I did, I think, 11, or no, I did the 9th in Valencia, and I was like 5th or 6th in Jerez, so it was impressive. I started the test in 2018 in Malaysia, being 2nd, and my feeling was fantastic with the bike. But then I discovered that they were just testing used tires. They were working with, for the race, I was just very fast with new tires, but slow with used tires. And we had to say that this year bike wasn't a very, very competitive bike. It was a mix of bikes, 2017, 18, 19, was a mix of 2017, 18 bike, and wasn't working so well. So I crashed a lot. My feeling with the team also there wasn't fantastic. Not with all the team, but with someone in the team. So in this situation, cost me more to be very competitive. So I was seeing other rookie like Fabio that was impressive, was very fast. So I was jealous about that, but I was knowing that my potential was much higher than this. And the only race where we showed a bit potential was in Australia, that I fought for a podium. And just Jack in the last laps overtook me for the fourth position. But honestly, it was the first time I was enjoying really on being competitive in a race, and nothing was tricky.
But it became less and less tricky, and it kind of started to come together. Then the move to factory red. We've got to talk about that, because that must be, if you've been a Ducati fan since your uncle had a Ducati, you must have just been like another moment of.
Yeah, yes, when it to make a step back, because in 2020 I was starting to be more competitive. I was faster at the start of the season than the factory riders, because I did the podium in Misano. They were behind. I was doing the podium in Jerez. Then my engine broke, but I was much faster than the factory rider. So they started to think about me, but I had a leg problem. I crashed in Brno and I broke my leg. So wasn't ideal. And when I was at home, seeing that the others were racing, and Zarco were doing a fantastic
that was
job.
The year of Zarco's long lap, wasn't it, as well? The legendary long lap at Brno.
I was scared that the probability of being in the factory were going away. So I was in Austria, that I was still at home, that Dovi said that he was not continuing in Ducati. I was eating my hands because my nails. I was just trying to recover as soon as possible to be back, and I finished the race when I was back in the second position. So was I think they decided to give to me the possibility, thanks to this race. And then when I signed for the factory, was a dream come true. My favorite team, my dream was completed, just arriving in the factory team. And as soon as we started, I feel it much better. We didn't have a maximum of luck in 2021 for some reason, but we started with a podium. Then we finished the season in the second position. So.
And then
we won.
And then we won.
Yeah.
So. Talk to us before. I've got a few fan questions for you at the end, and I don't want to keep you all day because you are busy. But talk to us then briefly the feeling of winning your first race, and also in MotoGP, of course, and also where you did it, who you defeated, and the amount of pressure for everyone who doesn't remember. It was Aragon 21 versus Marc Marquez, anti-clockwise track. Everyone's expecting a certain person to win, and I remember I looked back a few weeks ago for some reason, 7 times he passes you in the last 3 laps, and every time you have to find something for your first win. What was that? Bad, yeah, how was that feeling crossing the line? Because it's your first win, but it's also the last 3 laps of craziness that you've come through. Yeah,
well, you remember that we were prepared to fight for this victory, because we worked a lot, and we were finally prepared. And as soon as we started the weekend, I was feeling great. Marc was very strong. Fabio was very strong also. We started to race, and I did the pole position, and then we started to race, and Marc was like always super fast in Aragon, because he's a left-hander track. He's very strong in Aragon, his own Grand Prix. So. Was trying the maximum, and I was there fighting with him, and for me was fantastic, because I was very strong in a very complicated track for me. The first this was not the first possibility to win, but was one of the first, and we were fighting with the maximum with the top player. So defeating him in Aragon was fantastic, and I never could ask more for my first victory, for sure, because someone win their first victory with Cup or with some luck. We win it in we fight
in a boxing match to the end.
Yes,
yeah,
it was fantastic.
So obviously, then next year, you pull off a very cool comeback, 91 points after this very race weekend. taking that championship. How did that feel then? Compared to the race win, is it just another level of explosion?
We were here when I crashed on Sunday, and I was back with 91 points.
It's historic though. Now it's cool because it makes you the person who's made the best comeback ever.
At this moment, I remember well that we arrived in Assen, that was the race after, and I asked to the team to have a meeting all together. And I asked my team in which area I could improve. Why? Because we were doing a really good job, but we were missing something. And I said what I was thinking that they needed to improve. So it was a good share of ideas. And from that moment, we never missed a result. We did 4 victories in a row. In Aragon, we closed the gap to 10 points. And then in Phillip Island, we take the lead. So gaining 91 points, or finally, I win the title with, I don't remember, with maybe 26 points.
This is the thing, you didn't win it by 1 or the same.
Yeah.
Like, it's 91 plus.
Like we gained 115 points, or 17 points, I don't remember well. So it was incredible, considering that I started the season in the half.
It was a pretty incredible, I mean, the roller coaster for your fans must have been quite...
Absolutely. We have to say that Fabio was in a difficult situation for sure, but we were in the situation that the only way possible was win. And for some reason, when you just need to win, it's easier to win. So it's incredible.
This is your calling card. It's like as soon as there's something where it's like, wow, he really needs this, it's just like...
Yeah, it's the moment I love the most.
I mean, that is what makes us even more excited for next year. But fan questions then, because you do have a life to live and more annoying interviews to do. But fan questions then, and if you want the unrivaled access to Pecco Bagnaia, not quite this good, but if you want to ask your fan questions, you can in MotoGP Premier as well. You guys have to go up there every now and then, don't you? Say hello to the people. Today, no, don't worry. I think it's Jack today who's the victim. But, so on X, we've got 3 for you, or Twitter. Cartiel Ufly, not sure about the username. Pick only one, Juventus UCL champion or Ferrari world champion?
Ferrari world champion.
Wow, okay, interesting.
But because I love Juventus, but Ferrari missing the title more.
Great reason. So next one from Aiden. Hello, how nervous are you about your wedding?
Honestly, not that much. I know perfectly that everything is almost done, so...
Nervous about the day, no? Just...
Right now, not. For sure, in the morning I will be, but right now, no.
So this is more of a deeper question, maybe. From Mo XNDA, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29.
New regulations.
New
regulation. In the middle of that.
I imagine myself still enjoying. In 2019, I will have 32 years. So maybe, for sure, more experience, more mature. But,
that's what we like.
But enjoying doing what I'm doing. I try to, honestly, if I could win 5 times again, more in a row, could be good. And,
good. I like the understated Turin coming out there. It would be good.
And nothing, but I think my ambition is to continue like this, enjoying and prepare myself to be always much stronger.
So 3 more finally from Instagram. Have you reached your goals of 5 years ago? It's from Tarileo.
Yeah. I won 2 times MotoGP in a row. I'm fighting for the 3rd year in a row, fourth year in a row for the title. So it's not easy in this kind of period, MotoGP era. So for sure, yeah.
Then this one's quite different. From Maro 10, guess who they're a fan of? Who plays Call of Duty better, you or Maro?
I think in strategy, Luca is stronger. But 1v1, I'm stronger.
It's good. I mean, we need to see that. We need the Twitch stream.
We can arrange it.
And then finally, from Valerica Caps 46, guess who her favourite rider is? What was your favourite dish as a child? I think you all know the word dish now from our Twitter, from our teammate challenge rather. Lasagna?
Lasagna, I think. Yeah.
Really? And now?
Also cotoletta milanese.
Fair. Now would you say the same?
Now we say pasta alla matriciana.
Good answers, all very Italian answers. I love it.
Absolutely.
I mean, I would probably also choose Italian food. So, thank you, Pecco, so much for joining us. Best of luck this weekend for the rest of the season. It's been a joy seeing all your battles on track and some of the iconic moments you've already created for us.
Thank you.
And yeah, in bocca al lupo.
Let's continue like this. Crepi lupo.
Let's see and enjoy.
Thank you very much.